This episode is brought to you in partnership with Choose Chicago. Capture the excitement.
Hey,
I always sound like a nerd on pre-recorded things.
you really had this nerd.
That was very clear.
Thank
that
you.
was really good.
Oh, I appreciate
That was a good
I
one.
think everybody's very judgmental about their own voice, though.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't listen to anything I do.
Yeah.
Ever. I'm just like, I'm good.
But you're going to listen to this episode.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, and on that note, 77 Flavors is off and running. Let's get it.
This is the podcast where we visit all 77 of Chicago's historic neighborhoods and discuss their heritage and taste the amazing food.
And if you know anything about us, we love two things, food and Chicago. So I can't wait to burn this gas money.
You ready?
Let's get it.
This is the 77 Flavors of Chicago, the podcast.
Yo, we are back. Let me tell you something. That gas money line did not age well.
Yeah.
Ooh, you weren't kidding. It just gets worse and worse.
It is.
But here's an insider note from someone in logistics that works with trucking.
Okay.
Next week, well, you're listening to this is already over. I don't know how it is the week you're in. But next week from the time of this recording, gas is about to go down 1% in price.
1%.
Yeah.
A whopping
You know,
1%.
one whopping 1%.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So what is that going to do?
Yeah,
It'll be a little cheaper.
I'm very confused about all this gas stuff because, like, I read something last night where they're like thinking about doing another. God, what are those checks called that we got? Like
Stimulus.
Stimulus
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
Stimulus for gas, and I was like,
Shit.
can you just find a way to lower it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just pay
I-
the gas station so that it doesn't charge me that much.
But I did see that somebody proposed a bill, which I'm sure won't pass, that was like, we should charge the oil companies for this and give the money to the Americans from the oil companies. And I'm like, that's never going to happen
Love
because
that.
it sounds super cool.
Yeah, right. You know,
Right.
that ain't never going to happen.
In like 10 years, we'll get some version of that.
Yeah,
Later,
yeah.
much later.
Yeah, y'all, we jumped right into the topics.
Right.
We got serious real quick.
Current
Yeah, that
events,
would be serious. Yeah. Dario,
Sarah?
and we are joined by Carlo, the guy who runs En Pilsen. Y'all make some noise for Carlo here.
Oh,
Y'all make
snap.
some.
What a
I think
welcome.
Dario sometimes forgets that he's not hosting a comedy show.
Hey,
He'll
look.
say something like, "Y'all give it up for," and
No.
then it's just you and me. And
You
him.
never know, somebody in their car like, yo, that's my guy Carlo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm looking for the other Carlo out there, too, because I've never met another Carlo. So,
Really?
yeah.
hey, it's you.
I'm trying to think.
That's it.
I've met a lot of Carlos, but
So yeah, I met a lot of Carlos, and I obviously get that all the time. People are like, "Are you sure? Did you forget the S? Like, is this spelling
Did you
alright?"
forget the S?
right.
I've gotten like, "Are you Mexican?" And I'm like,
Wow.
What you mean?
My parents just
PSA,
like
don't
Italian
ask
names,
anyone.
But I have met people by my middle name, which is Giovanni. So a lot of people in Mexican American culture use that name as well.
Okay. All right. So Giovanni is the middle name.
Yeah.
Okay. Carlo.
What's your last name and then
Yeah.
your mother's maiden name? And the last
Yeah.
four digits.
The last 4 digits. That's all we need. Yeah.
And fingerprint here.
Yeah. So Carlo, why don't you go ahead and tell the people everything you do and what you got going on, how you got started running in Pilsen?
Cool. I basically got started with just sharing photos of my neighborhood. So it started with like food and drinks originally on my personal social media, and I had a lot of friends that suggested that I start the Pilsen page. And honestly, I didn't think I could do it. I had never done anything with like social media management or engagement. I just did it for my friends, you know, like shared that stuff. And eventually I quit drinking, and I was just like going on these daily walks, and I started taking a lot of photos of the neighborhood, and I collected a photo album, and I was like, what am I going to do with these? And I wanted to create a Pilsen account, but like that handle was already taken on Instagram. So I was like, oh, well, there goes that idea. And I never did anything with it. And then like, you know, a few things happened, and like one day I'm just like, oh, what if I just made my own handle and like hashtag? And then like, you know, I was really inspired a lot by like 2312 and like DNA info. Like those are two, you know,
huge
pages and sites that I like followed very closely for a long time, and I've done a lot of really cool and interesting things in the city and neighborhoods that I wouldn't have gone to. To do things, and I kind of wanted to just do something similar like that at that point. Eventually, I started sharing like, you know, some hiring opportunities and like local volunteering opportunities as well. And you know, just the following got a little bit larger, and now I'm fortunate enough that, you know, my passion project does, you know, have some money behind it, you know, because there are some businesses that want, you know, just regular advertising within that, and, you know, that's pretty cool. So I'm just glad to be able to take photos of the neighborhood and honestly document the difference. It's changed so much every day, and I'm doing my part to make sure that I preserve my portion of Mexican American culture in my own way.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think it's really cool because, like, very similar to us, you are doing it just on the Pilsen scale, the neighborhood scale.
Yeah.
So you're really doing 77 flavors of Chicago.
Yeah,
but
just one neighborhood.
Just one neighborhood, and that just shows you how much it is in Chicago that you can have that much content in just one neighborhood. That's just one neighborhood of this city.
Right. So if for anyone listening that doesn't know this, Pilsen is a neighborhood inside
a community
area, which encompasses other. Not to talk to you like you're stupid. I'm sure you know.
Yeah. By now,
in case you didn't know, Pilsen is not a community area; it's a neighborhood, which is so fascinating because one, there's so many stories to tell, and it really is like just walking down. Dario gets his haircut down the street.
Yeah, right down the street
from where we are right now.
Shout out to Chris Men's Barber Lounge. Hey.
Shout out.
And so like sometimes I'll come out with him like if he's here on a Saturday, and I'll just like walk around. I'll get coffee. Like I'll go into, and it's one of my favorite neighborhoods. Like, and I'll just like take pictures of the church or like literally just walk around like doing looking up. And
it's like a whole vibe, like for real. Like that
is.
saying really stays true here.
Yeah.
Like there's so much culture, color everywhere. There's like such a wide, diverse range of people and backgrounds and beliefs, and like it's really rich in all of that right now,
Yeah.
So, but it's still really rich in Mexican culture, Mexican American culture, which it has been for like the past 60 years.
Yeah.
So, it is still ever changing, and like I said, we're all doing our part to kind of preserve the Mexican American culture.
Yeah.
While welcoming the new as well, because
it changes.
Yeah.
We know what the big G word is,
Right. Exactly.
We know about that. But so you're from this area. You live in. I love the shirt.
He's
by the
actually
way.
not from this.
Not from there.
Right.
Yeah, they're not from there. We talked about that before. But I love the shirt.
Yeah.
And the reason why I really like the shirt is because it's just so it's artistic, and we're gonna get into it. Yeah. Let the people see it. They see it.
It's a selection right across the street.
Yeah, right across. Y'all.
You know what's funny is I was
right
looking across the street and I saw them while Jai was parking the car, and then we got out the car and you were parked behind us, and I was like, I swear I just saw this shirt somewhere.
Yeah.
And I like,
You know what? They did just relaunch them again.
Yeah,
So they're probably in the window, and I didn't even think about
and I
that.
was like, I just saw this shirt.
Yeah. It just shows you how much
That's
pride.
the effect, though. I'm always
Current.
repping.
Yeah. Hey, look.
Local business.
Boy, look at us. I forgot to take my shirt off, but we always repping.
Yeah.
We always repping. You got to. I read somewhere. This is pretty a dope fact, man. If you run a business, which we are, each one of us individually, we are a business.
Right.
How you gonna have a business and not talk about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to rep all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was crazy. So we were talking about speaking of business down here. I actually have been down in Pilsen a lot more than I really realized in my lifetime. So I was telling you, I did my comedy literally down the street from where we are right now. I've had a couple shows at the Pilsen Art House.
Yeah.
I got one of my tattoos, which was the Chicago Cubs World Series championship tattoo down here in Pilsen.
Where?
I forgot the name of it. God. It's changed now. So
It is. I remember walking into it, and it has a new owner.
Yeah, they got a new owner. Guy took over.
Omen. Maybe it's.
No, it's not Omen. I'll remember it. Studio One. Studio One.
They used to be on 18 and Miller, where the barbershop is, and now they're.
And it's changed.
I think it's Racing.
It's changed. So got my tattoo there. Fun fact about the tattoo is I got it on the same day that the Cubs were giving their championship rings.
Wow.
When they were in Wrigley, that day, and I told the tattoo artist, I said, don't put the needle to my skin until the first ring is passed out.
Wow.
So for me, it was like I got my tattoo, at the same time they got their ring. So I'm that crazy Cubs fan, y'all.
That's awesome.
And then I get my haircut right down the street from here, over at Men's Barber Lounge, man. So a good portion.
Wait, really quickly, two things. I got a tattoo at Studio One as well too, and it's one of my favorite ones. I've only gotten the one there so far, but it is my favorite. And then the other thing I was going to say, go Sox.
Oh no!
Come on, you know what? I can't even be mad.
No, honestly, the thing is though, I don't get upset about it or anything. I'm not like a diehard sports fan to begin with.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just like the Sox are so tied to the South Side.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, just people always looking down on that. Like now the South Side's a little cooler and people want to be there. And, drop that name where they live. And it was always kind of looked down on, and I like it for that reason. But I also have, my brother. We grew up in the exact same house, exact same parents, and he is a diehard Cubs fan, like no socks at all.
Yeah.
And people are like, "How?" And I'm like, "Whatever." Like, and I talk to other friends that are like, they were the free games on WGN.
Yeah,
that's
Socks
literally
ones you had to pay, and they're like, I used to watch it with my grandpa, and I'm like, you know what? I can't hate on Chicago.
Yeah.
It is. Really,
and I don't think a lot of people.
you told that story. You said that you grew up on the South Side, but you are a Cubs fan because it's what was on
That's
TV.
what was on TV. It's not like I just one day was like, you know what? I like blue better than black. You know what I mean?
To be fair, until this day, you refuse to wear the Sox jersey.
Here's the thing. Because I'm loyal to my I'm loyal to my team. You know what I mean?
Do you think the Cubs would be like, you can't be here? You've worn a Sox jersey before.
I mean,
Look at me calling it a jersey, not a sports shirt.
Yeah, look at you. Look at you.
Thank you so much. There's this
Fashion Friday.
Yeah, I hope they wouldn't get mad. I mean, if I had to do it for the podcast, I'm putting that Sox jersey on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? If the Sox say, "Hey, look, we want y'all to come out opening pitch," If
it was the Cubs or the Sox, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to look, I think at this point they know we represent all 77 community areas.
Dario's points of views do not represent those of the podcast.
Look, I'm just saying. I feel like the Cubs and Sox wouldn't put us in that situation. Like I feel like they would be like, "Oh, they're universal."
Yeah,
Now, we at a bar. My boys that know me, they'd be like, "Hey, look, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, go Cubs." It's different.
So where did you actually grow up?
So I grew up in what we talked about, like it's now referred to as West Inglewood.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up over there, it was just Inglewood. But it was by 59th and Western. But
hey,
yeah, we
South Side
exactly forever and ever.
Always.
And, we lived over there, and our block was made up of a lot of family members that purchased in the same neighborhood when they moved to the United States, and. So we grew up over there, but then my dad always worked in Pilsen his whole life, off of Blue Island and like Wood, and then so we would come pick him up because we were like a 1-car household, so like we would come as kids to like pick him up. So we spent a lot of our days here because we would like do our grocery shopping here and then hang out and do things and see people and eat something. So I was always here, and then when it is you're in your 20s in Chicago, you're kind of crashing places and stuff. I was always crashing with my friends in Pilsen for way too long. So I was just here forever, and now I don't know. I think I moved here like 13 years ago or something like that.
You've
been in a couple
here.
different blocks. So it's always felt like home. It's it's one of the places that my dad lived when he first moved to the United States. So he lived near like the Western and like Lexington Taylor area, and then also over here like on 18th Street. And then my mother, she's from like Little Village area, so she was born in Mexico, but she was raised over here, and so like she was raised over there. And back then we just called it La 26, it was different. So just like it feels like home. It feels cool. I like growing up in the city, I like always wanted to be closer to downtown. I didn't understand why everything was so separate and so far apart, and like there's some childhood dream inside of me that's also like, okay, like I'm literally like I Google mapped it and I'm like in a car, I'm like 7 minutes to Sears Tower, which is always going to be Sears Tower also.
Right.
And I'm like, I made it. Like this is where I wanted to live, and I'm like, and I get to know my neighbors and like learn their names, and it's such a great vibe. Yeah, it just is.
Yeah, it's dope. You said 59th and Western.
Yeah,
I grew up in 63rd, 62nd in Campbell, right off Western. Right off Western.
I just drove past here the other day. The theater's gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff going.
A lot of stuff's gone.
A lot of stuff going.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I like the Kennedy King upgrades. I know that was also kind of controversial for some people, but like, I went there for some classes as well too, and I think it was cool, and I think that was needed in the neighborhood, and hopefully they are able to control the G word again, and the spread there, because obviously
it's coming. But
there's like a Whole Foods like a few blocks.
Yeah, it's right by there, and I think
that made news.
It was like part of it because of like the school, I think, or maybe another school nearby that had like a cooking program, and like don't quote me on that.
And it's you see a lot of like they shut down local grocery stores to like put up a Trader Joe's. We don't need more chocolate hummus. Like keep it moving. I have a quarrel with Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
they keep
personal.
They keep like gentrifying all of the Arabic food into like desserts. Like, no, do not buy chocolate hummus from Trader Joe's.
She been on that
Please.
kick for a little while. Yeah, she
That
been on
just
that.
blows my
Yeah,
mind.
I actually like the store, but I don't go there that often. Like I said, we do Imperfect Produce, and
Yeah.
then on top of that, I go to our local supermarket, Casa del Pueblo, like honestly, like 3 times a week at least.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person that likes to spend a lot of time in grocery stores, so I'd rather go back multiple times for short trips.
Right.
I'll do it. Get out, know, find the shortest line.
Yeah.
That shit, you like going. I don't even.
I love going, and I love going to different grocery stores for different things.
I like
so
to
like,
eat.
like if I go grocery
Yeah,
shopping,
same.
I'll go to there's the Lebanese meat market on the north side that I really like, and then there's Edgewater Produce that has like really really good produce. I think it's Mexican owned. And then I'll go to like Aldi for like my cleaning stuff, and so I'll like make multiple trips. I'll be gone for like 4 hours for grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she will. I get all my Xbox time in.
Yeah.
And or nap.
right.
My girlfriend actually used to live in Andersonville and then Edgewater, so we used to go to those same stores right there, and just like that strip, and then there's like the Aldi on like Broadway.
Yep.
So good. Actually, like because I grew up so far south, and like because there was such a negative feelings towards it. I was not really a big fan of the north side for a long time.
Right.
And then it wasn't until I was like 19 or 20. I guess that's not that long, right? I was still pretty young. But I went to something in Rogers Park, and I was like, whoa,
way
this
up north.
neighborhood's lit.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is
College
like the
town.
same vibe, but like the opposite. And like there were families and there was culture
Right.
and there was college and whatever,
Yeah.
but it was like a mix. And I was like, okay. And like little by little, like when I started dating my girlfriend, like I said, and she was in Andersonville, then Edgewater, like I was in those neighborhoods, and I was like, oh, there's some Mexican neighborhood restaurants on here that slap too.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this is good.
Yes.
It's cool.
It's wild because I had the same thought process. I just moved up here, and granted, I do stand up comedy, so I'm the last 6 years I've been up on the north side, but I just moved out to the north side. And I'm telling you, it's different. You know what I mean? It was different for me because I'm like, man, I know the south side real easy. You know what I mean? Like 79th, Polina, 62nd, Campbell, all that. But coming up here is way different. You do the same thing. You're like, oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good food up here. It's, but
They got some eye.
you know what I mean? But it's really dope to kind of see how that perspective changed coming from the south side to the north side.
Yeah.
We do a lot of reminiscing, man. We take it. We do a lot of reminiscing. I like it. I love it. What's cool is a lot of things we said builds to what Pilsen, is. And this episode, not necessarily just about Pilsen. It is also about the Lower West Side, and that's where we start the show. So, y'all, before we get going, I think everybody else knows what's up. But, Carlo, this is how we get ready.
Emotionally.
Emotionally, because we're about to learn some stuff.
Okay.
That is how we
You
get
did like
ready.
a little baby body roll.
Yeah.
I was raised in the 90s.
You get a
little R&B in there.
I read this. I saw this meme the other day that says, "What's the name of the school bus?
Magic School Bus.
Magic School Bus could be up your butt right now, and you wouldn't even know.
For real.
It's for Miss Frizzle.
Never
All up
sleeping
in
again.
She could be all up in you, and you wouldn't even know.
Miss Frizzle all up inside you. Y'all. We are on the Lower West Side, and community area number 31.
Hey,
Number 31, and it is not Pilsen. For those that Pilsen is not the
that's
community
great.
area.
I really thought Pilsen was the community.
Yeah, I know a lot of people probably did think Pilsen was a community area. It is not. It is Lower West Side. We're going to tell you all about it because there's a very fun facts about this whole community area. First, the boundaries. The boundaries. To the north, we got the railroad tracks at 16th. To the south, we got Chicago River South Branch and Stevenson Expressway, 55 for those that's coming out southwest. And to the east, we got Chicago River South Branch by itself. To the west, we got the railroad tracks at Campbell. And the neighborhood.
Those railroad tracks just go.
Yeah,
through.
they play a big factor in this community
Chicago
area.
history.
Yeah, they play a big factor. The neighborhoods, Heart of Italy, Heart of Chicago, Heart of Italy, asterisk. I'll get to that in a second. Heart of Chicago.
Controversial. I'm going to stay on the list.
Just the asterisk. But a good asterisk, not a bad one. South Water Market, East Pilsen, and Pilsen. And how did this?
First of all, I didn't know there was an East Pilsen and a Pilsen.
Yeah. There is.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't get into it. To me, it's kind of all one Pilsen. Like, if you look at a map, I think it might be from like Peoria or maybe after Boston or like right after to Canal. It technically is called like East Pilsen on a map.
Yeah.
To me, I just consider it all one.
It's
so,
all
like,
one.
For me, I'm
Yeah.
like, Western to Canal. Gotcha.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about names because, this community area is called Lower West Side, and we've always given a derivative of, where the community area got its name. And this community area is all about names. All about names. Where did this name come from? Simply put, it's lower than the West Side. So that's why
Really?
that's why it's called.
But it's not South Side.
But it's not South. It's not. That's what we're talking about.
South of Madison, but not South.
But it's not South. So,
But to some people, it is South Side, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like, I like I said, when it comes to that, everybody, I'm just like, whether you want to
call it what you want to call it.
Pilsen, Lower West Side, heart of Chicago, like
Whatever.
Southwest Side.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that grew up here that all feel very different. So I'm like, how are we ever going to come to something?
Right.
But I think as long as everybody, they're like 18th and Cermak, and that's like
Exactly.
kind of how we function.
Yeah, that's the fun.
Yeah.
But now, as far as the neighborhoods, the names do matter, and I think this one is very interesting. This community area is very interesting because the name is kind of how I'm going to tell the story of this community area this time around. We'll start with Pilsen. The whole area was populated by Germans, Irish,
Can I
Italian.
guess Polish?
Yeah.
German, Irish?
The typicals, the usual suspects. But it makes a bit of a difference this time around. This was like an entry point. Okay, so if you look at it on the map, and because of the river, because of the railroads, this was an entry port. For immigrants to come into the city and make a living, and a lot of people made a living off of the river being right where it is. A lot of industry and such. Why do I do that?
I don't know.
I've been doing.
What's your favorite word?
Yeah, now all of a sudden, I don't know why I've been doing and such. No, I'm good. No,
Okay.
I'm good. I've been doing and such.
It works.
Yeah.
Are you calling it slacks though too?
No. I ain't made it there yet.
Cool.
I ain't made it there yet. Please don't let me, Lord.
Curl
No.
control.
But so they made an immigrants entry port came here, right? The Bohemians also settled into the area, into the oldest sector, right, of Lower West Side. They settled in here, and they called it Pilsen, based off of the Czech city Pilsen.
Yeah.
So if you look up Pilsen, it is a Czech city.
I did look it up, and I did get a Czech city. And I
Yeah.
was like, what is wrong? Pilsen?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's somewhere in the Czech Republic named after Chicago?
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. That's
awesome.
so Chicago.
It's funny because like once in a while, like people from the Czech Republic will like tag me and things, and they didn't mean to, and I'm like, wrong Pilsen, but also
Yeah.
same Pilsen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to share your thing
Yeah,
because
I like
we
it.
got your
I
name.
like
We got our
it.
name from you, so.
Right.
So here's some interesting things about the Czech city Pilsen. Did you know it is known for Pilsner beer?
Oh,
I did know that,
You did know that.
I did not know that.
Okay, let me keep on going because I'm gonna try to stump.
but I used to drink a lot.
Okay.
Chicago, like-
Yeah. So, we gonna talk about that too.
Yeah.
Did you know it was a pale ale, and the first pale ale was created in the Czech city Pilsen?
I did not know that at all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the first one, and it's Pilsner Urquell, and it's still it's still produced today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
awesome. I
out of
did not
this.
know that.
Yeah, there you go. Look, 1 point, Dario. Yeah.
There you go.
1 point, Dario. I feel like I got a few more coins coming here because like I did some
excited.
deep diving here. So there y'all go.
Don't say that because someone's going to be like, you didn't dive deep enough?
Well, let them keep
not
going.
enough information.
There's always more to add. It's,
It's
like
always.
people on the internet drink it. It's like, I mean, I'm trying to fit as much as I
Concise.
can,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit amount.
30 minutes.
It's not all of it. I
Yeah.
didn't say it's all of it. It's the Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm trying to move here.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's Pilsen. Okay, so that's how Pilsen kind of came about. Now let's talk about the South Water Market. Okay, so the South Water Market, the name kind of comes from exactly what it was. It was on the river, right? It was a area by the river that they had a lot of manufactured immigrants worked and trades, happened and things like that. Trades as in work, it all happened right there. Businesses. They even had like sweatshops and shit, all the stuff down there. You know what I mean? Like they were working. So that area, simply put, called South Water Market. South Water Market. Now, here's some fun fact. You say you used to drink a lot, and we talked about the Pilsner beer. Did you know that one of the oldest breweries in Chicago is actually in Lower West Side community area?
Is it the Schlitz one? Not Schlitz. It's
You
something. It's the one by 18th Street.
There you go. I'm gonna give you a point.
It's man, I really can't.
I got you. It is the Schoenhofen brewery.
Yep.
Yeah,
German?
Yeah, it's German. So it was built in 1862 on 18.
Damn.
That building is insane.
Yes.
1862.
1862 and on 18th and Canal. Here's some fun facts about that. Like I said, it was built in 1862. In the 1860s, this is how popular this beer was. It used to do 600 barrels per year. Now you think about that in 1862, 1860 in the 19th century. That's a lot of. It's a lot
I
of
thought
beer.
there was something that it was against the law to drink.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get there. In 1910, they were over 1 million barrels a year.
What?
Yeah, 1 million barrels a year.
That's
Yeah.
50 years.
Yes.
What's the math? That was way
Right.
too quick.
Yeah, that was 50. Yeah. That's
drinking.
Yeah, that's a lot of drinking. So
Wow.
the beer that really put them over the edge was the Edelweiss beer.
Sure.
Was their best product, and it sold ridiculously well. They survived. They survived World War II or World War One. I'm sorry, and the Prohibition.
Wow.
Now, how they survived Prohibition is just pure Chicago fashion. They hit it basically.
They lied. Yeah, okay.
Hanging out the side.
Yeah, Chicago, we are known for being creative in that
Yeah.
sense. So,
When I was
I thought
like
you were gonna say
18,
Crooks.
there were like places in this neighborhood that whatever, it's like a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. They're not
You show
around.
up at somebody's house and like buy booze in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
when we
yeah,
that was Chicago.
yeah, and that's so Chicago.
Yeah.
To the point that so what they did was they basically kind of hid it because during the Prohibition, everybody was going dry. You know what I mean? Like we were like one of the only wet towns still around.
Really?
Yeah, we were the only people knew, but the law didn't catch up to us. They eventually caught up to us, and because of the Edelweiss beer, it was doing so well. That beer would have still been going, and they had to shut down the buildings, and the old original buildings that were built in 1862, because they found out we were still wet and we should have been dry, so they shut us down. Chicago. Chicago.
Always shutting down the party.
But here's some more facts about our brewery. Did you know the first Chicago brewery? Because I know somebody out there is wondering, and I was wondering myself, so I did some research. Anybody know the first Chicago brewery?
No idea.
Nope. Scholz and Haas in
The one in Tulsa.
1833. That is the first Chicago brewery in the city. And
Wow.
for those that don't know even further about Chicago and Chicago's brewery history, we are one of the top brewers in the world, not country, the world. One of the top.
That's nuts.
Yeah, Chicago.
I don't know if this fact still stands, but at one point it had the most breweries.
I think that was so. I was trying to find that out too, but I
I
know
don't think that still stands.
I don't
but
think
it
so
was-
too. But I don't think we're far off.
That's interesting because I feel like Milwaukee has a ton.
You would
They
think.
were in the game before us.
But I
at
think
least
Chicago-
not
Yeah,
before
I
us,
don't
but
know.
While we took that time
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
But Chicago's bigger, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
and I think that the measure was per capita, so it wasn't.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It wasn't
I
the
think
number of breweries.
if I'm correct here,
Is it by number of
I think it's
breweries?
by number. We were at one point we were number one.
Wow.
We had the,
Yeah.
I know, and I can't tell if this was 2 years ago, a few years ago. The pandemic threw everything off, but we were number one as most breweries in the city.
Cool.
Now,
Crazy.
I think a lot of that has changed because of the pandemic.
Right,
So,
right,
you know what I mean? Like, we got things that shut down, unfortunately. Sorry, but a lot of things shut down. So,
That's crazy because, like I said, I used to drink a lot, but I was a PBR and like
Yeah.
tequila person,
Yeah.
that was me.
yeah.
But I did go to a lot of breweries, and at least I don't remember.
We don't think about it.
At the beginning, like I remember when Lagunitas open, and the Goose Island opened, and they moved, and they would have those awesome 312 events, and like that. And now there's a ton more, and because I don't drink, I don't know all their names, but and Revolution, another good throwback.
Yeah, huge in Chicago.
But I never realized it was that big. Wow.
Yeah. Another fun fact about Schoenhofen, that brewery you're talking about, and I tried to confirm this. I couldn't confirm it. Anybody out there, please, now is the time to fact check because I'm asking for it. I believe in the basement there was a well where they did all the the brewing and all that kind of stuff.
The brewery.
Yeah. So the only well and the oldest well in the city is also in Schaffenheim. Schaffenhofen.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Schoenhofen.
I did not know that.
I know.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So somebody please confirm that. I'll probably confirm it before y'all get to it. But it's.
They said if you could have confirmed it, why didn't you confirm it for this episode?
Right. Because I'm not going back and re-edit it. I'll tell you
You
that.
gotta keep everybody guessing.
You know what I mean? I said what I said.
I give you the information I give you. You gotta figure out the rest.
Y'all can figure out the rest. I did enough, man. Look at the guy pages, bro.
I'm doing book reports, adult life.
You know what I'm saying? What happened? Let me give you a point for that. I am doing book reports. I done did 44 book reports.
Damn, that is a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. I've outsourced the restaurant portion to our guests. I'm just like,
you talk about it.
We'll find a restaurant.
Me, I still research for like an hour and a half.
That way, because honestly, like if you look up Pilsen restaurants, something else is probably going to pop up first, and I want it to be somewhere that's pretty authentic.
Right. There's a lot of areas where like I'll pick a place for sure, and most of the time I do. But a lot of the time, if I'm reaching out to someone from the community, I'm gonna ask that person for a recommendation because like you live here. Why would I
traveling within your city?
Right. Like why would I choose something?
And we already know we did a Lincoln Park, the Lincoln Square episode. They tout you can eat. You can eat around the world in that community area, and in Chicago, you can definitely eat around the world and throughout this whole city.
In all 77 areas.
In all 77 community areas. Community. Now, so we got Pilsen, we got the South Water Market. What's next? Heart of Chicago. So the Heart of Chicago, did you know, it was settled by Italians that moved from Tuscany. Over and Milano, all overseas of Europe. So that's where they came from.
All overseas of Europe.
Yeah, my bad. You know what I was talking about.
I knew what he meant.
You know what I meant. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like giving my popcorn and all these lessons.
Man, look, I told you
with the timelines. Remember, but I'm like, just let me hear it again.
Yeah, I got you. Some of the oldest buildings in Chicago are in Pilsen, are in the Lower West Side. To the point that in 1875, the streets were raised for new sewage system, 5 to 10 feet. They were raised. Some of the buildings are still below street level because they didn't want to change. They just said we're gonna keep it.
So they don't have sewer.
They got sewer, but not the point where they probably want it. You know,
there's still some houses like that are still like low. Like there's a couple steps and like
you have to go down.
But
below.
And then there's some that like when I remember started going to parties from like 17, 18. There was like all these like it felt like planks, like deck things that were like, but it was over because you had to go over like that. What was originally the first floor underneath. It's so cool though.
So,
wow.
That's honestly what always was one of my favorite things about this neighborhood. It's like the architecture and like I've lived in so many different apartments and like some of them have been really tiny rooms and they're challenging spaces, but like as a creative, like it's always been fun for me to like figure out how to make it work,
how to make it good,
and like it's cool because then you walk down the street and you go to like the little, I call them tienditas, the corner store, and like you go there and then it's like, oh man, they made their small space work for them.
Right.
And it's like the vibe too. And it's like,
you're like, I could do this.
And like I love that. And like every apartment is like, it's like the buildings that I lived in. Like my apartments never look like any of the other units. And I'm like, all right, cool, I love this. It's so Chicago.
You better than them. It's a competition for everything.
I know, right? No, just like those older buildings.
Yeah, right. And that's Chicago.
The amenities and the things that newer buildings offer. for sure.
Right.
But that it just shows you how much Chicago you are, man. Like only real Chicagoans would be like, I love that old shit.
Someone's
You know
gonna be
what
like, I'm a real Chicagoan and I don't love that old
I mean? Well,
shit.
I'm not talking to you then.
Yeah.
You're just
But
fast.
we can go back and forth on the real Chicago thing all the time because I'm like, I don't mess with snow. I hate it, man.
Really?
I hate it.
Yeah.
People
Oh,
are
yeah.
like, but you're not a real. I'm like,
No, we real. We just don't like the shit.
You just put up with it because the summer is so great.
Yeah, Chicago summer is second to
I
none.
used to travel 90 minutes from Inglewood to my job on Michigan Avenue. Don't tell me I don't know about Chicago. Okay? I crossed a lot of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Heart of Chicago. So Italians moved in, right? So this was Heart of Chicago. Heart of Chicago is kind of like another entry port to the city, right? But where does Heart of Italy come in, right? Because we said the Italians moved into this area called Heart of Chicago. They have a strip that is really called Heart of Italy, and all it is restaurants, shops, and things like that. And the reason why it's nicknamed Heart of Italy, that's why I gave it the asterisk, because it's nicknamed Heart of Italy, because they wanted to preserve the heritage and the culture of that part of the land where they settled in Chicago. So that's why you have Heart of Chicago / Heart of Italy. There you go.
Yeah, it's a cool little area. Have you ever driven down it?
Yeah, I've been down there one time.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I want to
should
go.
drive,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll definitely.
It's not very far, but it's definitely something cooler to see like during the day. I would say like during the summer because it's so alive.
Yes, it's alive.
Forget like I said earlier, like I've lived in so many different blocks in this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, gone to different stores and part of different little communities of that block, and like. It's just crazy to me when I walk through another block and I'm like, oh man, and like I never forgot that was there, right? Because like growing up in Chicago, like my dad used to take us there all the time or whatever. But it's just so cool that it's still alive there.
Yeah.
Like because you have the Mexican culture on like 18th Street and Cermak, and there's just that strip where you're like, whoa, Am I really like a few blocks away?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's a beautiful part where people venture off, come down to the west side, come down to the south side. There's a lot of things. We're down to one neighborhood left in Lower West Side, and this is why I want to tell you why does Pilsen matter? And this neighborhood right here, whether it be East Pilsen or all Pilsen 1, listen to this. It's known as the Arts District, right? A lot of murals, a lot of paintings. If you go to mosaics on the wall, it's very colorful. I took some pictures while we were out here too. Very, very colorful. And proud Mexican identity out here. So proud Mexican identity. You really can't stress it enough.
The Mexican Independence Parade. I hope that's coming back this year. But that is just a reminder of like what this neighborhood is. Yes, El Sol comes back in the summer.
Right now, it's 18.
Yeah. That one's on Cermak.
Yeah, that's on Cermak. Yeah,
insanely huge. But it's awesome. Carnival rides, music, Mexican food, Mexican street food.
Absolutely fun. Absolutely
That's
fun.
That's literally like one of the reasons. So I studied abroad in Mexico while I was in college. And I was like, I don't want to go back for the summer. I'll just stay and do an internship here. And I stayed. And then I was like, all right, I'm graduating in 9 months. I'm coming back. And then I moved back for 2 more years because it is like just so alive, so colorful. Everyone is so happy.
Yeah.
Some of the, and I lived in Querétaro, which is like in the center.
Actually,
it was like in the middle of, it's 2 hours north of Mexico City. Okay. So it's like in a smaller city, but it's in the middle of the country. And so people were going through it in certain parts of the city, but no one was unhappy. I mean, people were positive. People were enjoying their lives. They're like the little squares in the downtown city center. People were dancing. There was like banda every day. Like it was just
that's awesome.
Incredible. Yeah.
I've been to a lot of different cities in Mexico, but it's been a long time since I've been to most of them. So like when we were younger, our parents would take us on vacations, and we still had some family over there now. I think most of them live like in border Texas states at this point. Last year we did go to Cabo, which I had never been to before, and I thought it was good. I thought it was going to be crazier. I thought it was going to be wild, but maybe because of the pandemic it was calm. Yeah. Or maybe the resort we chose was calm, and it was a great time. And it was actually more full of culture than I would have thought, to be honest. So it was really cool. We went to like the local things and things there. But my mom's actually from San Luis Potosí.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I visited.
I love San Luis.
It's just insanely beautiful. It's like cathedrals and color, and like they have this one carnival called La Feria, I believe. Get mad at me, internet, but I'm pretty sure it's called like a feria. Maybe my family just referred to it as La Feria, but it was just so iconic in my childhood memories of my grandfather and
Yep.
different sickness in general. And like that's the vibe I get from
Yeah.
Fiesta del Sol.
Yeah.
And just we don't visit Mexico as often as we used to, so like it's nice for me that my nephews that are growing up in Chicago get to experience that little bit of like Mexican celebration and
Right.
like for real and like festival status.
I think one thing that one of the trips we took was to San Luis, and we went a little north maybe, and we went whitewater rafting.
I didn't know about any of that until like a
Which
year ago.
me neither. I did not know that
Yeah.
that existed. I swear, at one
I
point
would never.
the river mellowed, and we were just sitting in the raft. One side on your right hand side, it's like the rainforest, and on the left, it's like, think of the images that you think of, like the Swiss hills with grass and cows,
Okay, yeah.
and it was literally like that. I was like, how can one country have so much to see?
Yeah.
And not even you don't even need to go to the entire. I mean, there's so much to see in Mexico. Like, if you ever have an opportunity to go there, and you don't just have to go to the beach towns. And even if you go to the beach towns, you don't have to go to like Cancun and
You
stuff
can
like
leave the
that.
resort. You can go into the city.
Literally,
There's always going to be
we went
song.
to Ixtapa, which
I've
is
never been there.
it's on the west coast, but it's like it's not so much so resorty. It's like local people go to vacation there, and we were there for 10 days. We rented a villa on the beach. There was 10 of us. We paid $100 each for 10 days.
What year
No
was this?
joke.
Yeah.
2016, 2017.
Definitely ain't doing that now. Not nowadays.
That's
No, but
insane.
I mean that's like
awesome,
what
though.
5 years
That's
ago.
how you take it in. Like
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
you take it in.
Yeah.
Like
It's insane.
when we did visit all those cities when I was younger, my parents took us on vacation for like 3.5 weeks where we went
Yeah.
to like different cities every 4 days. So I've been to
That's
like
so
Guadalajara, Morelia, San Luis Potosí, Juarez, Torreon.
Wow.
A lot more than I'm forgetting right
Yeah.
now. But in my adult life, I've just been to like Cancun and Juarez and Cabo, like back to
But that's
back.
like so incredible to have gotten that experience.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
at a
really
young
grateful for
age.
it. I'm like, also, how did my parents afford that? Like, I'm on vacation with 2 kids. Like,
There's different stimulus back then.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's funny that y'all taking this trip down memory lane here because in East Pilsen, in the lower west side here, is the National Museum of Mexican Art. And here's some fun facts about the National Museum of Mexican Art. It was founded by Carlos, Tortolero in 1982, 2 years before I was born.
Hey.
And at that time, they opened up in 1987, and it was named the Mexican Fine Arts Center Museum. Like I said, opened in 1987. Now, they were meant to provide positive influence on Mexican community. In 2001, I've been there one time, right? I've been there on a field trip as a kid, and I knew it was a different location. I did this. In 2001, they expanded to a new location, 48,000 square feet facility.
Wow.
Yeah, in the heart, right here in Pilsen, right in the heart of Pilsen.
Right around the corner.
Yep.
It's across the street from like
Yeah.
Pilsen Art House.
Yeah, right there. And in 2006, it was under a new name, which is we know it as the National Museum of Mexican Art. Here's why they changed the name. It is home to the country, to this America country's largest Mexican art collection, more than 18,000 pieces from ancient Mexico to the present. Had no
Wow.
clue. You knew that.
I did know that. I
Yeah.
go there pretty often, though. Not often enough, I guess. So I didn't go there for like. I don't think I went there until I started this page, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then for a while, I was just going there really often and
Yeah.
like just kind of seeing the same things, but like different days, the art hits you different
Yeah.
ways, and it was just like
Yeah.
cool to have that. And it was also the idea of like the fact that I knew that it was the largest collection in the United States, and I'm like, it's like 7 blocks from my apartment.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah, and right here in Chicago. Right here
But
in
Chicago has a lot of these, like the largest
National
in the
Museum of this.
Yeah.
And which is really dope. You say you went there all the time. It is the funny thing is it's the first Latino museum accredited by the American Alliance of Museums.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, you went there all the time, so it's open Tuesdays through Sunday. Off on Mondays. Off on Monday. Close on Mondays.
A lot of things around here.
Like
close on
barbershops.
Mondays.
Yeah. Yep. My barber is now open on Monday.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Hey,
Every
shout out to
day
Chris
I'm
one more time.
hustling.
Yeah. You know, 10 to 5 p.m. and it's always free.
Yep.
So if you want to learn about some culture, about the Mexican culture, man, come down here, man. Y'all, you really got to. It's the city's, is the country's largest museum for Mexican art. And
They
culture.
have a special exhibition right now too that they're doing. It's the Frida Kahlo like private collection. Some things that are going to be here for a while that just opened.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I actually haven't made it to see that. I've been there like twice this year already, but I like to go off.
Yeah.
And I don't
We're gonna go to
I
that.
didn't go often during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's fun to go.
I'm trying to get back.
I remember the first time I went. It was, I think it was 7th grade on a field trip, and I went when it was at its old location.
Where was that?
Man, it was somewhere. It was somewhere on the, like, I want to say southwest side. I didn't write it down here, but I've always said, and this is honest to God, I was like, it was one of the museums that actually like changed my whole like thought process on museum, because I went in there and it had I remember had Day of the Dead stuff featured there, and I was like, that was the first time I seen Day of the Dead stuff, and I was like, yo, this is cool, because the art, and then you start doing the research on it, like you understand what they were talking about and like why it's Day of the Dead. And I was just like so amazed, and it was the first museum. Aside from the the big ones that we got here in Chicago, that I had gone to, and I'm like, yo, this actually shows culture. You know what I mean? Like, and this is again the old location, but I haven't been to the new one, and I really cannot wait to.
Well,
get to
we're
the
going
beautiful.
now that Frida's there.
Yeah,
it's
Frida
awesome.
is our
It's
girl.
beautiful. It's like I think the perfect size. Like the way it's separated into the rooms. Like they do a great job of like curating those collections.
Yeah.
Personally, like one of the reasons that I started going there a lot was, and I can't remember this artist's name right now, and I hate myself for it, but I hate myself. I'm a little upset about it. There's just like a lot of Mexican American artists there that they feature on that, and that's really important to me because, like, I'm not Mexican. I'm Mexican American.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, and I remember the term Chicano being thrown around when I was younger, and I didn't really know what that meant. It took me a while to kind of get closer to my Mexican heritage, and it was the museum that helped a lot too, because it was one of the first places that I could see that I was like, oh, these are other Mexican Americans that have been able to do things and to figure out a way to make it work for them, most of them at least. But it really is a struggle, it's interesting because like there's so many people always like relatives, right, or friends like trying to fact check me, like how many Vicente Fernandez songs do you know, and I'm like, how many Mexican artist names do you know?
Exactly.
Like we just know different things.
Yeah, don't do that.
Culture.
Yeah, don't do that.
In general, but
that's crazy that
it's a family thing, though.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
family will do that
and
to you all the time.
That's such an interesting, like, I don't want to say juxtaposition, but it's so interesting if you're like first generation or you frequently interact with relatives that live in like Mexico and you live here, because like I have relatives that do the same shit to me. They're like, you've lost part of who you are, you've lost part of your culture. It's like, no, I'm just, it's a whole new category that I fit into that is not the same. And that's fine. Both are valid. Like you don't, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. It's like I kind of always,
people go,
like I remind people,
family go do that.
I was born here, and there's so much like pressure to like assimilate. Like it took me a real long time to be close to my Mexican culture. And it wasn't. I mean, I always spoke enough Spanish, and I loved living in this neighborhood and whatever. But honestly, it was a lot to do with like me meeting my current girlfriend and like my partner for the last 10 years, and like. She was really impressed by like the amount of Spanish. She was like, "Oh, like when she would hear my family like knock me down for it, she was like, are you kidding me? Like, it's amazing you speak a second language.
For sure.
More of it." And she had already spoken before, like in high school and in college, so we practiced it around the house. Both of our dogs have like Spanish names.
That's
and,
amazing.
Like, we do a lot of things like that. But it's still funny because it's kind of a trip for my dad. It's interesting to like. Even older friends, like when I was still drinking before, they're like, "Hey, you speak more Spanish and you do Spanish things," and like, that's kind of weird.
That's
like,
just let me live.
Right.
Yeah, let me live.
But it's funny because I'm like, the more I learn about Mexican and like culture and more about learn more about Spanish, I'm also like, oh, so I'm not really Mexican. That's other shit that happens. So,
just a few more things that we get out here. Just 3 little fun facts.
You gotta stop saying "get out of here" because people are gonna be like, "I'm ready to."
Before I get out of here with the history, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The Gads Hills Social Settlement, founded in 1898, changed the name in 1916 to the 1898, right? I said 1898, right?
Okay, my astigmatism saw that it was 1889.
Oh, yeah, my bad. 1916, they changed the name to the Gads Hill Center, and it's still operating today.
Yeah.
And the reason why it operates kind of like, if you think back to, or anybody listen to us, you listen back to the Chinatown episode where we talked about that. They have the center that helps immigrants kind of assimilate, you know what I mean, and kind of find their way around poverty, education, things like that. Just learn their way around a brand new city and brand new country, for a lot of people. So still here in Pilsen.
Yeah, and actually, I think they have a new location too. It might be in Brighton Park. I saw something about like a bigger one.
Yeah, I believe they did change. They just expanded. You know what I mean? Like,
they were one of the first organizations that I started sharing like donation and volunteer opportunity things.
They do good things.
Yeah,
they do great things.
Been around forever.
Yeah. Another place that's been around forever, Talia Hall. Talia Hall. It became also a national landmark in 1989, and it was built in 1892 by John Dusak. Designed to look like the old opera house in Prague. Yeah. So pretty cool. Right there on the corner.
Because Prague, Czech.
Yeah. You get it. All that.
I went to Prague. It's beautiful.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You see the real thing?
And I was like, this is some Pilsen stuff. I need to come here. We were already like we were in Poland, and we were like, it's a train ride away. We gotta go check this out.
Yeah. So
it's incredible.
And Talia was modeled right after that. It was built for arts and entertainment for the Czechs and the Bohemians that were in the area at the time. It closed to the public in the 1960s. It was reopened in 2013 for restoration and to bring back the original charm and character. And now it's still open to arts and all kind of entertainment, food and music and community.
Yeah, there's concerts, music festivals. There's like
all up in
wrestling that goes on in there. I've gone to vaccination events. All of the above. They got it all. There's like a tack room on the side. You used to be like horse stables. The bar.
Wow.
So the doors like swing open, and they do awesome things with like live musicians during the summer where they do like concerts in the street. And, they encourage like neighbors to like bring lawn chairs and just hang out and have like a neighborhood block party.
That's
and
awesome.
It's cool. And those three, there's the three spots in there, the basements and all throughout there. They still preserve exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, and they're all a different vibe. I mean, I've been there so many different times, like Belia Hall, they have like seasonal menus, and it's just really great food. To me, I'm like, can I go to the West Loop first?
Right.
Like it's good, it is good. And then there's like Punch House, which I don't really go out that late anymore, but it is a great place to be, at night for just like records and great music and dancing.
Wow.
Like they have great quality punch drinks. So
Talia Hall, y'all got to come down here right on 18th. And then finally, here's a very fun fact for all Chicagoans and all people who's going to recognize this name. Do you know who was born and raised here in Pilsen, in Lower West Side? Anybody take a guess out there? I'm gonna give you a few seconds. Y'all got it? Big famous name here in Chicago.
I can't remember. Is it the Ugly Betty girl?
No. No. Actually, but I don't know.
I think America Ferrera.
She's America Ferrera.
Yeah, I know. I know she's from
really?
here. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, America Ferrera. But not the person I was thinking of.
Yeah.
George Hallis. Who, born and raised here in Lower West Side. And if y'all don't know who George Hallis is, let me take you down a little history lesson here. In 1920, Papa Bear Hallis started the Decatur Staleys. In 1921, a year later, he moved them from Decatur to Chicago, and they played in Wrigley Field. And at that point, he changed the name of the Decatur Staleys to the Chicago Bears. Do you know why he?
You said Wrigley Field.
Yeah. Do you know why he changed the name to Chicago Bears? To honor the Chicago Cubs because they played in the same stadium at one point.
Okay, I get it.
Yes, he was the coach all the way up until 1967 and remained the CEO until 1983, until he died. He died in 1983. And the Bears moved to Soldier Field in 1971, where they remain today. Hopefully, hopefully for some more time they get
How
this
did
right.
they play football at a Wrigley Field?
They played it like they would. It was very tight in there,
That's not even the
very, very, very
That's
tight.
that's not the size of. I don't even know football, and I know that's not the
Yeah,
size
it
of
does
football
look really
field.
small, like compared to the.
Northwestern has played several games there.
What?
Yeah, Northwestern last year actually they played in Wrigley Field and they had both goalposts. Before, what they did was they had both teams went the same direction because the goalposts could fit, and each team played in the direction of the goalpost. So, the
I
more
did
you
not
know.
That's pretty cool.
There you go.
I knew about the concerts, the baseball games, the ice skating rinks.
Let me give myself a coin for that. And that is the history, and that's why Pilsen matters. There you go. We had a lot. That was a lot. We gonna let that digest so we can eat some food because we are on location inside a very warm outdoor space that I'm sure had to be converted because of COVID. We're outside. What's the name of the restaurant? I know the name of it.
Taqueria El Mezquite.
Yeah, but I can't pronounce it like how you did.
18th and Wood.
Yeah, it just rolled
Right
off your
off the
tongue.
pink line.
We gonna take a little break right here, and we're gonna come back and talk about this delicious food, y'all. Man, this food was fire. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you in partnership with Choose Chicago. Capture the excitement.
And we back.
We are back.
Hey.
I like the sounds.
You right?
Yeah,
sounds,
The sounds are fun.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you're watching a real show.
Yeah, right.
Real show.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Like
Appreciate
I
it.
said, I've done all, no disrespect or anything else like that, but because it's been quarantine, it's all been over
Zoom. Different.
phones, different, yeah.
This is professional, y'all.
Yeah, we are at Taqueria El Mezquite. Hopefully I said that correctly. I haven't used my Spanish in a while.
El Mezquite.
And it was really good. I just noticed here that it says Estilo DF, which
What does that mean?
it means Distrito Federal, which is Mexico City.
Yeah,
Oh.
the capital of Mexico.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually no longer DF, it's Ciudad de Mexico,
Right.
which is crazy.
Okay. I had to look.
That's one of those things where, again,
so
I'm like,
think
to
of
each
like
their own, how they-
Yeah.
think of like how Washington D.C.
Yeah.
is like if they suddenly
cap-
don't call it Washington D.C., they call it the city of Washington.
Fun fact about that: did you know that Washington D.C. at one point was going to be New York?
No.
Yeah.
I know that because I watched Hamilton.
Yeah, it was. I don't know the reason why, so I don't want no historian coming after me. but
if I'm
don't know.
being correct, and this is based on my knowledge of Hamilton, it was because they were trying to decide what was going to be the capital and what was going to be the financial district.
Yes.
And Hamilton was like, give them Washington because they were all from Virginia and they wanted to be close to their homes. Give them that to be the capital, and then we'll control the banks in New York.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
There you go.
Thank you,
Look.
Lin-Manuel.
Yeah. It's a little
some
fun.
DC history.
Yeah, Yeah, look at
I
that.
only know it in song, so I tried to translate from song to regular words.
Yeah.
But this place was really good. It was your recommendation, Carlo. I basically emailed Carlo. I was like, hey, we'd love to have you on the podcast, but also pick the restaurant.
Why'd you pick the restaurant?
I love this place. I come here about 2 times a year. I have a friend who grew up in the area, and he's actually the one that told me about the Carlo en su jugo. So I came here for that a few years ago, and now I just come like 3 times a year.
Yeah.
I love this patio. This is new. Like
Yeah.
we talked about this structure, very impressive. But before this was up, it was just like a regular open patio.
Yeah. And y'all, so speaking of that, the vibe here, man,
Yeah.
the vibe is dope. Yeah, I'm sure you can, if you can hear the music. I know sometimes these mics drown out
Right.
all the noise, but there's music
Isn't
playing.
that
Yeah,
purpose?
No, it is the purpose, but like we can't hardly tell sometimes. Like
Right.
sometimes we like, man, this music's gonna be loud as hell in the damn mic,
And
and
then-
then you don't hear
And then
anything.
nothing.
And we don't know
We're like,
until.
are you recording in a closet?
Yeah,
We're
right.
actually outside.
Yeah, right. We don't know until we listen to the playback. But there's music playing, and like you were saying about this patio. So the patio was open before, but they put a roof over the top,
Yeah.
and it does not even feel like we are
Okay,
outside.
I'm gonna explain to you. Outside is a tornado.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there
Like,
are
we're literally staring at those tarps just fly.
Yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
and I cannot feel a single breeze. In
Yeah,
here.
you can't even feel that it's
It's like
moving.
72 degrees in here. Like it's so nice and
Yeah.
cozy.
Yeah, it's better. It's better in here than it is probably inside the actual building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so dope. They got the nice lighting up in here, man. They got the ductwork that makes the place warm.
Control.
Yeah.
This is
Little lamps. It's very-
little flora
And
going
it's so
on here.
colorful.
It is.
It is so colorful.
Is that right? Did I use
I
it
mean,
right?
it is right, but you didn't need to say flora. You could say plants,
Yeah.
but I'll give it to you.
You know what? I couldn't even think of the word plant.
That's all right. It's been long.
He said instead of
It's been
saying
long. You got food
florist,
coma?
instead of saying florist, he said botanist. I was like, you thought botanist was
Bro,
easier than
I
florist.
couldn't think of florist at the time, but all I could think of was botanist.
Botanist.
Just flexing, you know?
know-
That word of the day.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I read the dictionary, y'all, on the regular.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
No, I just remember things when I want to.
Random words.
But dope vibe in here, man.
Yeah,
Take the steps down out here. The outside, I took some pictures of 2 murals that are on the outside of the patio here. It's fantastic. Just
Yeah.
the dope vibe when you walk in. You walk like a nice little tucked in like
Yeah.
hallway.
It feels like a taqueria
Right,
rather than
literally.
a restaurant.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
A lot of like Mexican restaurants are Mexican restaurants,
Yeah.
you know, and then there's taquerias, and this is like a really good hybrid.
Yes.
It's so small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
But
you're
spacious.
getting ready to order at the window.
Yeah.
But then you look and there's an entire restaurant.
Yeah,
behind you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So dope. It feels. I mean, it's just dope. You know
It's
what I mean?
super colorful.
Yeah.
There's like really nice art on the inside. The patio is really nice.
Yeah.
Like the mosaic tiled mirrors
Right.
are like
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I,
for sure.
I love that when like they have the sink outside of the restrooms.
Yeah.
You're like, yes, this is Mexico. Like,
Yes.
Mexican vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they really harness the heritage.
Yeah.
Here
And like
to
you can smell the food because
Yep.
they're cooking out like in the open.
There's
Like
a window
there's
right
no
there.
tucked away kitchen. Yeah.
There's a window right here.
Oh yeah, like a food
Oh yeah, I
pass.
didn't even think about that.
That you
Yeah.
can get the
Yeah.
food from, and it's just dope. And you,
That is
it just
cool.
that just shows you how you were talking about how like you design your space, like in the houses
Yeah.
here, and they got creative here.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. This is incredible.
Right.
Yeah. The food though is really where it's at. That's
Yeah,
where
for sure.
That's where you shine.
It's a pretty extensive menu, and if you've listened to this podcast before, you've heard me talk about how I don't like a large menu, but when it comes to
Uh-oh.
Mexican food, I think it makes
Variety
sense.
is key.
Yeah,
Right, I
yeah.
think it makes sense because it's literally the same things done in slightly different cooking styles.
Yep.
So like.
And different meats. you
And,
can
and
get
I
with.
think I've told this joke before where she goes, so what's like a taco? And she'll be like, oh, well, it's a tortilla with meat and onions and cilantro and salsa. She's like, okay, cool. What's an enchilada? Well, it's a tortilla with meat and then some salsa. And she's like, okay, what's a gordita? Well, it's a fatter tortilla with meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of the same. It's different cooking styles, but it's the same, similar ingredients. So once you cook, like, I don't know, chorizo, you
Yeah.
can put it in multiple different forms of serving. So
Yeah.
that's why I would say, like, even though the menu is large, it makes sense for it to be large because it's the same ingredients.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna harp on that too
How
much
was the
longer.
chorizo?
It
Yeah,
was
let's
really
kick it off. Kick it
good.
off. You had
Okay.
the-
Because you got an extra charge this time.
I did.
Yeah.
So there's two things that I always order, and they are my two favorite things: flautas and chorizo. And I think those are like two very simple things. And if there is tortilla soup, those are like. For
Okay.
me, the first things I tried when I lived in Mexico, my host mom used to make flautas all the time at home, and she would make them with salsa verde, and those are my favorite things, and so those are my measure. I would say, I mean, no way am I like an expert in Mexican cuisine, but I've had a lot of it because I love it so much.
Yeah. I'm not an expert in either, but I'll eat it all.
I'll
Yeah,
eat it all
boy,
the time.
I will smack
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
Mexican food just
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Like,
Fantastic.
I recently got into this sort of thing where I'm just like picking up like a pound of meat and tortillas, and I'm like just meals, quick meals,
Yeah.
like quick,
Easy.
I just love it.
Yeah.
Literally, one of my
Gotta
favorite.
watch that tortilla, but
I know.
that tortilla intake, but
One of my favorite snacks is I used to go to this place that made like fresh corn tortillas, and so you would ask for like a bag, and then you would also buy the Oaxacan cheese from there and the crema, and they would give you crema with a little baggie of salt, so that you can just put crema on the tortilla with a little bit of salt and just roll it up and eat it. And that was like my snack on the bus home
Wow.
after I picked up the tortillas.
I have not had it with the salt on that way, but growing up, my grandma would make like fresh flour tortillas, and then we would have butter, and sometimes you put a little salt on that.
Yeah. Oh, so y'all,
I'm like full, but also now
I
salivating.
know, right?
Yeah.
That's how Mexican food is for me, though. I feel like it just keep going.
Y'all,
Yeah.
I mean, he really did. Y'all see the spread we had, man. Like,
Oh yeah, they ordered it all. They
We did.
ordered it all.
We did.
They ordered it
We
all.
like to, so we can try multiple different
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I did the chorizo taco, and I did I think a flank steak gordita, which if you don't know what a gordita is, it's kind of like a thicker tortilla that is sliced in half like a pita pocket and then stuffed with the meat and lettuce, sometimes onions, like depending on what vegetables the place usually prefers to put in it, but it's usually like lettuce, lettuce, and salsa.
Do you have like staple meats that you like for certain dishes?
Yes.
So like for me, like you said, like I always have to order the flautas. So like I always have to have cecina whenever I go somewhere. Like that's one
Yeah.
for me.
what is that?
I don't even know exactly. It is something that I'm definitely gonna get wrong.
Okay.
They're gonna be like, that's not even an animal.
Shit, I don't know how to. You
Yeah,
said
but it's
Sosina?
Oh, it's
cecina.
cured steak.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Cured steak. Oh, it's delicious. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
salty. My mom used to make it all the time.
It's like
and
jerky.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even know you could find it in a restaurant. So like 10 years ago, I thought it was like it was pretty hard to find
Yeah.
back in the
Right.
day. And like now there's a restaurant that specializes in here, but I have it at all of them. So like that's
Wow.
the go-to for me. But if I have a gordita, it's got to be chicharrón and salsa verde.
Okay.
And if I have a milanesa, it's got to be wow, why am I blanking?
Hey, it's
The breaded
Torta?
No, the milanesa de not de pollo, de res. I can't remember the full name right now, but I always get the milanesa. So yeah, there's like I gotta get the milanesa, that meat, the gordita, the chicharrón, and like a taco cecina. But then like today, this had like so much ground
Right.
beef to cut into. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
So
and then,
you
like,
got
it was really rich.
like I don't want to say it's a soup because it's like a broth.
Yeah.
And then it has meat in it, right?
Yeah.
And then topped with avocado.
It was incredible.
We smelt it as
Yeah.
soon as it
Yeah.
landed on the table.
It was
I was
really
like,
savory. It
smells
was
so good.
like salty, but like the perfect amount of salty. It was really delicious. A ton of meat, like way more than you find in
Yeah.
other places.
Right.
It's like definitely worth the cost, especially with meat prices right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was really rich in that, and then it did have the bacon, and then the beans, and then the avocado, and then like some cebollita in there too. It's so good.
I think we downplaying the smell. The smell
Yeah.
was just so it came at the same time my burrito came.
Yeah.
his
And
ground beef burrito.
anyway, who cares?
No one cares. I'm just telling the people.
The people know who they dealing with right now on this podcast. Y'all know the year, half a year. So the smell though, like I'm like, what is that? That smells this good, y'all. It's the smell sold it. I wish I had got that
Yeah.
because I'm like, gee.
Yeah.
And then when you did like you took some of the meat out of the just to see how much meat was in there.
Yeah, I was really surprised
Yo.
by that. Like that's why I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna take a picture initially.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh,
There's a lot.
There's a lot
in
in
Yeah.
here.
And
Yeah.
I, you know, like if you, to me, when you go to eat, I don't want that little dainty little amount of, you know, don't give me that. Give me some meat.
I'm not
Right.
controlling my portions. Over
Yeah,
here,
no,
okay?
I'm not. Yeah, you're right. I'm a grown ass
I'm
man.
here for a good time.
Came here for a great time. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But I did have a burrito. I did have a steak burrito. And it was very good.
It was very good.
Very good steak burrito.
Yeah.
One thing that I really liked about it had a lot of cheese in it, and
Yep.
for some reason, I don't know, the cheese had some really good flavor. I don't know
It's
if
probably Chihuahua, right?
maybe
Let me see
I
what
don't
that
know,
I love Super M.
but it was fantastic because like I literally just tasted like you take a bite. Normally I'm like I don't give me the meat. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want.
It's like a filler.
Yeah, you know, I don't want anything. You know, I don't want that. You know, what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
I'm here for the meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the cheese, I was like, yo, let me get a bite of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic, y'all. Nice size too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
That's
wasn't
great,
too small, wasn't too big. I still got half left.
And what I like about it is that, like, you know how sometimes when you bite into a burrito, you only get like either only the vegetables or only the
Yeah.
cheese or only
Yeah.
the meat. This
It
was
was-
like a
was
perfect.
solid.
Yes.
Yeah. It was,
Yes.
You got everything in every
in,
bite.
in the folds too.
Yes.
Commercial cut, right?
You know what I'm
There you
saying?
go.
Like
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
didn't I even take pictures?
yeah, you know,
It was just that full.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yep.
And then also had I had tacos too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Tacos. I had a couple steak tacos, but then I had the fish taco. The steak tacos, fantastic. I said I was gonna save it, but I didn't. I ate them all. But
As soon as he was like, I'm full, I'm going to save this for later. Actually, I'm going to eat it right now.
Yeah, they were good. They weren't dry.
All the time.
You know, they weren't dry. They were very fresh. Still had a nice flavor to them.
Yeah.
With a little bit of char. But the fish taco was very different fish taco. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
It was a fish fillet, so it
fillet.
wasn't like yeah.
It wasn't. You know how like you get like a fish and they like slice a piece of it up and then they put it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no, this was a whole fillet. Like
Yeah, it was a whole-
when you fold the taco, you had to fold the fillet up and like so you get a.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So again, back to this.
It wasn't like crumbled fish or
No.
anything. It was like a whole.
Right, it was the whole.
It's the whole damn
It
thing.
was like literally like my 4 fingers.
Yeah. It was good. It was 4 fingers, huh?
Stop it. That's what she said. Thank you so much.
Oh man, I missed it. Did I miss? Hold on, I had it on the wrong thing again. Hold on.
There you go.
There we go. Michael Scott.
Yeah. And
The
then,
only toxicity that's allowed on this podcast.
yeah.
That's what she
That's
said.
the only thing. Then the last thing I had the enchiladas. And,
Yeah, those were really good.
They were fire. Like
The salsa was really good.
Yeah, that salsa was.
All
at
of
the
those
verde.
salsas were
their
really
salsas
good.
are really good.
I'm a salsa verde kind of person.
Okay.
But the salsa that came with the chips was a red salsa.
was really good.
And that
Really
was fire.
That was really good.
Yeah.
I'm a salsa roja person.
You are?
But
Really?
I was a salsa verde all my life growing
Yeah.
up, and I don't know, like I just thought the red was always too spicy, and now it's like I love those. Those are the ones that like
Yeah.
that chipotle flavor.
Man,
Yeah, it is that chipotle flavor. That's
it's
really
funny.
good.
People always look at me and they be like, you know that's hot." I'm like, is the sky blue? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm good.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about me. I'm good. I'm a grown man. You know?
Yeah.
I love the red, but the verde I had the verde enchiladas, and the only reason I got verde is because I always do the red sauce.
sauce, yeah.
So I was like, let me just
Yeah.
somewhat step out my
I've been
box.
shaking it up, doing some green salsa recently too.
Yeah.
But I knew that their red salsa was really good. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
getting
good.
on that.
Well, we asked for more, so like I remember when
Yeah.
he came back, I was like, "Give me some more of that red." You know, what I mean? I need that for the tacos.
It's funny because I didn't like salsas growing up either. Like I said, I was a very picky eater growing up. But salsas, I didn't like them. And then eventually I liked the green ones because I did like lime when I was younger.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was like, they're usually heavy on lime.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit better. But now I'm all about the roll.
Yeah. Go crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. For me, overall, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And the reason why I like it is portion.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like why do I always hiccup? Like what's going on with me? Always, I'm a grown ass man.
You're too excited. You're taking too much air.
That was. But I mean, the portions were fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, and the prices. I mean, a little bit high, but like for me, like,
Are they?
I mean, I feel like it. Like tacos.
I mean, the taco is like $3.85.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
That's
decent.
pretty average.
Okay.
I would say that's average.
I mean,
for
yeah,
a
it's like
taco.
hard to find like a cheap taco in
Yeah,
Chicago. at this
a
point,
good
but
taco like
yeah,
like
this
that too.
is solid.
Yeah, I
Right.
was
Solid taco.
Yeah, I mean because like you see the picture, like you get a lot of protein in
Right.
that taco. So
Yeah, the burrito is $11. Or
oh, that's not bad at all. Yeah,
$10.95.
that's not bad.
I
the-
thought my soup was like $10.95 too. Man.
Right.
Yeah.
With all that meat in it.
The flautas that
I just had
That's
a cook
crazy.
out the other day. It was like $10 for a pound of arrachera.
Yeah,
This is
that's a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take that back. That was good. The prices is right where they need to be. Yeah.
I got the flautas. You get 3 of them, and it comes with rice, beans, and a little salad. That was $14.75, and I think so were your
The enchiladas were 14.
The enchiladas, yeah.
It's a whole platter.
and it's the whole platter.
It's
yeah.
a dinner.
platter.
It's a platillo,
Yeah.
so you get like
and you get 4. Not
Right.
just not. Cause most places give you 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, 3 skinny joints. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like,
Skinny
man, you be like, man, come on, man, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With no meat in them. You know what I'm saying?
Like
Like,
my first plata.
yeah,
Right.
right. You know what I mean? Like, come on now, stop
and
it.
The gordita was like packed.
Yeah, that
You know what I
looked
mean?
good.
And it's always disheartening when you get it because it looks like everything is in the front, but then when you pick it up and you start
Yeah,
eating,
it starts
all
going
it
to the back.
falls
Yeah.
in the back,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
just shit ton in there.
It was y'all. If y'all are in Pilsen, you got to come here, man. 'Cause,
Even
like,
if you're not in Pilsen,
Yeah, for real.
come out here and spend
Yeah.
go to the
People in
museum,
Pilsen
come
probably all
here
been
for
here.
lunch, like
The
yeah,
peak
walk
line is half a
around.
block away.
Yeah,
The
right here.
Mexican museum is like 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all right here.
You can
Put in a
literally-
selection, go get this T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right there.
You can literally just kick it in this area.
In these like 2-block radius.
Yeah, you know, and if you go a little bit more east,
But don't just kick out in 2 blocks. Go check out all blocks.
I was about to. That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. Go down if you're on 18th Street, because this is like mural heaven down here. You can literally just go down east. You know, and
yeah, you can start at Western because there's like a lot of murals from the 70s that date that go back then, like closer to 18th and Western. Yeah. And then it kind of like takes you all the way down, and then at some point 16th Street starts, and then that's a whole strip of murals as well. Yeah. And then there's the viaducts that are like connect from like Pilsen to UIC area. Wow. So like those are done up underneath, and there's like a bunch of like artist alleys that have been. It's like there's an artist alley, one that's actually called an artist alley that was like curated. They did like the sidewalk and stuff, and like did everything, and they got the neighbors involved, and they were all into it.
It is,
you know, like,
fantastic.
It's incredible. Yeah. So
it's really an art district.
Yeah, like, literally art district. I mean, like where I get my haircut, right there in that corner, you know, you can like look out the window and see the art in the alley. Right. You know, right there.
That new one right there. Yeah, it was pulled up last year.
Down the street from down the street from where you get your haircut is a carnitas place that you can go and like you just ask for
Don Pedro's. Yep. So I lived across the street from that place for exactly a year, and it is amazing. You do kind of get tired of it after a while, like just because I didn't think I would ever. I was like, oh, talking about? The neighbors were like, just eventually. But it's just now I'm like I miss it, because like. It was also one of those things that just made the neighborhood seem more authentic back then. You know? It was like 12 years ago. But
Y'all.
Yeah. There's a lot of coffee shops you can go into and get some coffee. Man. It's a very fun neighborhood to walk around in because there's so much to see. So, you know.
And go to the whole community area, Lower West Side. Go check out the brewery. You know, go check out you know, the heart of Chicago, the heart of Italy. You know, go check out all these things out here in the Lower West Side. I was taken away by like a lot of the history that I found out, and you are in George Hallis's birthplace.
That's right.
Come on, bear down Chicago.
Bear down.
You know,
Chicago.
Oh my, bear down Chicago. Bear down Chicago, man. Hey,
I'm pretty sure we have to pay for that now. But
I wasn't part of it.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. This is on Spotify with the rest of the music, so we can get away with it. It's just YouTube. We can't.
Yeah, that's right. They got rules.
Yeah. YouTube gonna be like, nah, son. Nah, son, pay us. Yeah. But Spotify, Amazon, Apple, we good. We can play whatever music we want to. Hey, y'all come out here, Lower West Side. Y'all know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Carlo, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
Carlo
on Instagram. So I initially got started there at En Pilsen, which means in Pilsen, because not everybody knows that.
En.
So En stands for En Pilsen. The page is mostly Spanglish. The TikTok is a little bit more behind the scenes. I just started updating that one. It's a little bit more of like sobriety, mental health stuff, local plant shops, like a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure y'all get into him, man. He out here, man. Like honestly, I really like what you do because it is like mini 77, and I like that.
We love finding creators within the neighborhoods and within the communities.
You got something to say
because you're like in the thick of it, you know.
Yeah, love it.
On that note,
I'm glad that you guys had this podcast on Ask Me. I really appreciate it. I think, like you said, like this obviously.
I've been following your page
because it was already like neighborhood, community-wise, you know. So awesome,
man.
Great time. Thanks so much for having me.
We appreciate it, brother.
I've literally been like from my personal page. I've been following your page for a while and like taking your recommendations. So I know we had to. Like I didn't. There was no one else. I'm sorry if you are important in Pilsen. You had no chance.
Yeah, no chance.
There's tons of other.
Carlo
I'll connect you with them next.
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connect us. We definitely. I would love to. I mean, because we ain't done shit.
Yeah, I know people in different neighborhoods.
Let's go.
So yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, we love that. That's been our favorite part.
I need help with food photo shots. So that's where.
So you know them
tutorials come in here.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, send it to someone you like. If you hate it and you continued to this point, get a hobby: knitting, crocheting, painting,
back in the bus,
watching paint dry.
Yeah, watching paint dry. Just off this episode and U-turn somewhere else. There's a lot of other podcasts. Check them out. Y'all be blessed.
Hey, Dario, Sarah, Carlo, we out. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of 77 Flavors of Chicago. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please like, rate, and subscribe to us on all streaming platforms where you listen to podcasts. And we hope you listen soon. We'll catch you back next Monday with a new episode. Bye.